Welcome to Mr. Wilson Live. This evening we have a very interesting lineup for you. We are going to be looking at the immune system. Some person might have been expecting the natural selection. We're going to be doing a little bit of natural selection, but not so much a natural selection class. Instead, we're going to be looking at the immune system. And right after the show this evening, we're going to be releasing the January 2021 paper 2. Now, we're going to be releasing a part of the paper, and then come sometime next week or in the week, we're going to be releasing the other part. We know that you are well advanced in your preparation for the exams. We do hope that you have covered as many multiple choice as you were supposed to cover. Now we're going to be looking at the paper 2 for both bio and HSB. However, as usual, HSB papers, they will definitely come first. So good evening again, and how are you doing? I'm seeing Martin. I think I saw you over there, I think probably on my post. Good evening. I'm seeing Anderson. Good evening as well. I'm seeing Tamara. Tamara is always here. I do hope that things work out well for you. I saw your message. Jawawan, hi, how you doing? And I'm seeing Audrey. I don't know, that name seems a little new for me. Welcome to the show if you're new, and if you're not new, forgive me. Probably you need to answer some more questions that I can become familiar with the name. Just a little reminder, I have been getting this question. Persons wonder how we finance ourselves. Um, it's not an easy journey. It's sort of really expensive at times. Uh, the the ads on YouTube are pretty much how creators make money from YouTube, along with other endorsement if you do have. So when, of course, the creators create these videos, you have advertisement that would run on these videos. And of course, the more persons watch these ads, and even more so if they support the ads, watch it if they happen to see ads that they like and they should partake in the product, then the creator gets some funding from that. So pretty much that is how it operates. And I mean, you have to watch a lot. I mean, you have to have a lot of persons watching these ads or partaking in these ads in order for the creator to be compensated. Now, if you are not doing that volume for persons to watch these ads, then of course you are not compensated. So of course you want to do that. But outside of that, I want to talk about how your favorite creator get noticed on YouTube. I really want to touch that while persons come in. Persons are joining a little late. I want to tell you how it operates. Now, if I send out a video and the persons who are my subscriber, if they don't watch the video, it means to YouTube that it is not a good video. And if it is not a good video, then the algorithm will not send it to anybody else. It will just stay right there and die. Right? So at times person might say that we're not doing this video, we're not doing that video. But if persons are not watching the videos, then it doesn't really make any sense doing these videos, because they are just going to, I close on a lot of video on my channel recently because they are not being used by persons. So it's sort of pointless to have them on the internet. So the thing about it, how the videos operate, and if you want to see them out there, and if you want to see all our videos out there in front of you, you have to watch them and watch them to the end. That's one. Two, you have to share them. And when you share them, you can ask your friends to share them. You have to leave a comment, right? YouTube want to know that you are responding well to these videos. The algorithm is looking for that. So you have to leave a comment. Now, sometimes you have to like, and when you like, it tend to go to your playlist. And then YouTube will understand that you have interest in these videos. And of course, they will send and make the videos a little more public. Now, if you are not watching the videos, when you log on, you won't see the videos. But once you're watching, once you're consuming them, once you're watching them to the end, you'll always see my videos pop up in front of you. Now, there are creators who will have thousands of video or hundreds of video, and you've never seen them because persons are not watching them. Probably one person watch or two person watch. So, for example, when we look at the pedigree chart, we sent out the pedigree chart last week sometime, I think. and the consumption was so low, we are almost certain that YouTube will not be pushing that video because not many persons watched it, and if person actually watch it, they pretty much just watch a bit, right? So it would make no sense for us to send another video, and it was pretty much the same case when we started doing genetics and we're doing the animations. They were not being consumed at the time, and as such, we had to discontinue the production of genetics. So when we send the stuff out there for bio, for HSB, we publish them based on your consumption. So for example, another example is that we sent out earlier, we sent out a post saying that we're going to be publishing the paper 2 this evening. Only 2 persons responded. Otisha and Barnett, I think, are 2 persons responded. Now, what that says to us is that persons are not you really don't have a need for this. So it is sort of pointless to say we push it, because if you wanted it, then you would have responded as subscriber. You would have gotten the notification because you would have clicked the notification bell and you would have been advised as to what we're going to do or do next. All right. So that is just a 101 how the channel operates, how YouTube operates, how any channel operates. That's pretty much how we operate. Another thing, I was not here for probably 2 classes, but I did make a post to advise you that I would not be here. For the persons who have subscribed and hit the notification bell, you would have gotten the message to say I wouldn't have had class then. So if you haven't been getting these messages, it means that when you subscribe, you did not hit the notification bell and select all. If you selected all, then of course you'd be getting everything that I have to say, whether I'm going to be here or not here, or if there's something important I want to communicate to you outside of class and outside of calling a live, then this would have been the best way to send the information to you. All right, so I will continue a little bit of blabbing. Good evening, Macmillan is here. Big up yourself. The Sosa is here. And Henry, I don't know if I know Henry, but welcome to the show. I tend to know everyone. Welcome to the show. If you're new, welcome. And if you're somebody here for quite a while, that's fine. We're very happy to have you here. All right. So the idea was that we're going to look at natural selection. And in my head, I was having a little problem. I was having a little problem in that the bio syllabus is almost 5 classes away, while the HSB syllabus has many other classes. So now I have to be looking at the paper and say, what do I teach? Where do I go? And trust me, I had a storm today trying to find the right lesson to teach. So with that said, I thought that it would not have been the best idea to teach natural selection. If you want to know a little about natural selection, you could just type in the chat there and I'll share it with you. But I thought it would have been a better idea for me to start the idea of disease. I want to talk about disease, and I want to name. I want to do my first prediction. So the persons who are here today, I want to do my first prediction for the June, July biology and HSB paper. I want to pull something out of the bag before we even hear about the topics that CSEC is going to send. And I'm going to pull it out now. So here we go. Some time ago, we had a hurricane in Jamaica. And there is this park in Portland. That's a parish in Jamaica. And they had some reindeers there. And because of the storm, the reindeers got away, and farmers were seeing these strange animals. They are herbivore, actually eating their crop and all of that. So, I mean, it was like, what does that mean? We've never seen these animals. They are not goat and that type of thing. And then what we realized that the next time we saw those animals outside of the wild was on the CXC paper. Yeah, it came on the CXC paper after that. So CXC is a regional exam. So what it does at time is to carry topics that are, of course, trending, right? That would have been part of the syllabus. So one might say, but reindeer is not on the syllabus. But when we talk about food chain and food web, the syllabus clearly says that you should not confine yourself to only the local organisms. right? So CXC was well within their place to bring these animals. Now, with that said, my prediction, my teacher talk about disease, but not cancer. All right, we're going to be doing a lot about disease, but not today. We're starting it today, but we're going to hop into disease. We're looking at the paper, and it's a big thing for you. So I want to make my first prediction. Do you want to hear? Let me hear yes in the chat. And if you don't want to hear, say no, Mr. Wilson. Do you want to hear my first prediction? Nobody want to hear the prediction? So I can just go ahead with the lesson then. All right, Barnett want to hear my prediction. Anybody else? Only one person? Nobody else wants to hear? Oh, really? Oh, two persons. Mark Millen wants to hear my prediction. All right, so I have to wrap up my head on something like that. Now wrap up my head on some long beard and and then I make the prediction. I have to do something like that. All right, guys. My prediction is while it was on the January paper, you know what was on the January paper? Type it in the chat for me so that I can say that we made a prediction. Hi, Jennifer. Are we seeing you for the first time? If so, good evening and welcome. What was on the paper? What was on the January paper that we think will be on the June-July paper? Yeah, there was something there, a big long question that I'm going to be making available this evening. Big long question. And we think that we're going to be seeing it again somewhere, somehow at a later date. I will make it a little more finer as to where it will come and what it will be like. But I'm going to make a prediction on the big topic. The big topic is that COVID is going to be on the paper. I strongly think so. It came for January and the disease is still here. And of course, the regional bodies would, of course, want all students to know about the disease and how to navigate this trying time. So with that said, it is quite likely that CXC will bring coronavirus on the paper again. So it was on the paper for January. I strongly think that we're going to be seeing it again for June, July for both biology and HSB. All right, very good. Now, corona, one might ask what corona has to do with the paper. Now, if they don't bring corona, they're going to bring chick-V or sick-V, zick-V, one of those that had affected the Caribbean. What is topical in the region? So, corona is a virus. Agree? Good. And we have been doing virus ever since we looked at our types of cells, and then we looked at the pathogen and so on. I think we looked at virus then. And then when you come to disease again on the syllabus and we talk about pathogenic disease, again, we looked at virus. And then the whole idea of this vaccination that everybody, most persons are averse to, we have to look at that as to what it is really, what is likely to happen after, and what are the prevention, control, or cure for coronavirus. These are topical issues. It was, of course, on the 2021 paper. If you want, I could share the questions with you now. Before I get into this, I could share the question because this evening is where I want you to talk. We're going to be talking this evening, and then I put my things in gear for the next class. And of course, we are going to go a little deeper in. But I'm going to be sharing with you. I think persons are going to say, yes, sir, go right ahead with it. Yes, sir, go right ahead with it. So I am going to take it and say, yes, sir, I'm going right ahead with it. All right. So let me see if you said yes, because you're my supervisors, and if you said no, it's no. All right, so you want to hear, I want a preview of what will happen this evening for the questions on the paper that we'll release this evening, the paper 2. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I tell you, Macmillan and Barnett is out of the block very, very quick. So I'm going to be reading something for you, and then we're going to have a short discourse on it. The questions are already answered, so you are going to see them this evening in red. I do hope that everybody can see the color red. because we answered the question in red. And there are some cases on the paper where they'd ask one example of something, but we probably gave 1, 2, or 3 examples. You should not do that in the exam. We're doing that because we're doing revision and we're using the paper to teach. In some cases, our answer might be a little wordy, but because we're using the paper to teach. All right? So let us just go to that paper very quickly, and I will read for you, and you'll see if you could answer this coronavirus. So this is question number 2, section C, part C, and it says influenza season has begun, and as a result of a coronavirus epidemic, Ravi decides to take a course of antibiotic to prevent him from contracting the coronavirus. To further prevent himself, Ravi decides to become vaccinated against the coronavirus. This is your question. Explain to Ravi why taking antibiotic is not a wise course of action. So I up on over now. So here's this fellow. It's a flu season, influenza, and influenza is, of course, a viral disease. So influenza, what the syllabus would have done here, or the exam would have done here, is to provide you with some clue. Influenza is the clue. All right? So the question here, why is it not a good idea for Ravi to take antibiotic, despite it is the influenza season and despite our coronavirus is out there and it's so popular? All right, so you can be easily exposed to it. Why is it not a good idea for Ravi to take the antibiotic? Anybody want to tell me? Want to try? We're answering a part of the 2021 paper 2 for human and social biology. That is a paper that went in January. We're going to be releasing that paper this evening, a part of a paper, and we're going to be releasing a part of it sometime later this week or early next week. All right, so share the question. It may be unnecessary cell other than... Tanisha, welcome back. Can I talk a little bit of Creole? How are you today? Where are you, Tanisha? I haven't seen you for quite a while. It's been like ages. Welcome back, though. All right. Macmillan, sometimes taking antibiotic can either kill or inhibit the growth of bacteria. Ha 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 ha. Macmillan, I'm laughing at you. Ha 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 ha. Don't worry yourself, Macmillan. We soon get it all right. Some persons didn't hear the question, so I'm going to go with the question again, and then we're going to come back and have a discussion on it. All right, so the question is, the influenza season has begun, and as a result of the coronavirus epidemic, Ravi decides to take a course of antibiotic to prevent him from contracting the coronavirus. To further protect himself, Ravi decides to become vaccinated against the coronavirus. Now, your question number 1 here is going to be for you to explain to Ravi why taking antibiotic is not a wise course of action. And of course, that would have been well explained in the session that we would have had a natural selection this evening. So let me see what's happening here. Nitisha Francis, how are you? It might not be 100% effective towards the virus. You want to talk a little bit more about that for me, Nitisha? Please tell me a little bit more about what you're saying. I am not going to be trying to decode it. Just lick the nail on the head. All right. Topic for today. The topic for today, we're going to be looking at immunity and just a little bit of natural selection. Being that we advertise natural selection, I'm going to just be touching a little bit. Just might talk about the Galapagos Island and, of course, Charles Darwin. Virus changes all the time, so antibiotic will work Bacteria, but not virus. Oh, wow. That is a good answer. But you almost throw me up there in a barnet. You see, when you say viruses change all the time, it sounds as if you were going to say, that means it might not be. But the answer here, guys, this is what the takeaway. The takeaway is that antibiotic targets bacteria, not virus. So when we take antibiotic, we are taking the antibiotic for virus and not, sorry, we're taking the antibiotic for bacteria and not virus. Now, in taking the antibiotic when it is not needed, as it were for the case with coronavirus, what you would have been doing is to unnecessarily use this antibiotic, which will lead to antibiotic resistance. Because here it is, you are going to have some bacteria that, hey, why is this here? It's not for us. And then over time, what you'll have is what we refer to as antibiotic resistance. So when you really need that antibiotic, it just does not work as it should. So you really don't want to run to the shop and to say that I'm getting some antibiotic because this type of antibiotic is for bacteria. All right, that's the bottom line. Yes, sir. I know. Just hear the question. All right. So antibiotic is for bacteria. Hence, you are not going to be using the antibiotic for any virus. Antibiotic is for bacteria. If we use antibiotic incorrectly, then we are going to have antibiotic resistance. And when we really need this antibiotic, it will not work. And that's pretty much a part of natural selection. It just evolved in order to survive the antibiotic. All right. So I'm very happy that somebody's here that know about coronavirus. That means that you hit this thing out of the park. So we're going to be throwing the questions your way. Antibiotic is for bacteria. All right. Antiviral are for virus. Amal, big up yourself. How you doing? I haven't seen you quite a while. All right. So let us look at the other question. Name the specific type of immunity that Ravi would have developed after his vaccination against the coronavirus. All right, we want you to name the immunity that he would have developed after he would have received the vaccination for the coronavirus. The specific thing. The specific thing. Let me know the specific thing you have there. Hold on. What do you this evening? I want me to come out so strong this evening? Could you explain? No, Tanisha, the paper specifically asks for the specific thing. So you can't just say natural and you can't just say artificial. That would be wrong. So we're going to go with Amoy. It is artificial active immunity. Now, it is a 2021 paper. But remember that it's always, a disease is always on it. Now, Amoy, what I want you to do for the class now, I'm going to be teaching immunity this evening. I want you to explain to the class why it would have been artificial active immunity. Now, Wedderburn, it's nice having you here. No, we have been just going through some question and chit-chatting here and there. All right, so we're looking at the 2021 paper. We're going to be releasing the paper after the show, but we're looking at the question that has to do with the coronavirus because we're thinking that the coronavirus will reappear on the June-July exams. We strongly think that it will reappear. It's a topical issue, and the regional bodies will really want everybody to pay attention to what is on the news or in the news. So, of course, we think that it will repeat, as was the case with the reindeers in Portland. All right, so Amoy, you want to explain for us why is it artificial, active, acquired immunity? Want to tell us? All right, so this means that you would have to be listening to the news. Amoy, yes, no, tell them, man, tell us. We want to know. We're looking at immunity. We're looking at the 2021 January paper 2. That is a paper that was done this year. That is the paper that we're looking at now. We're going to be releasing a part of the paper this evening, and then we're going to release a part sometime this week or next week. We're also going to be releasing the 2021 biology paper as well. All right? So those are ready to be released. We're going to be sending them out shortly. So everybody stop. I don't understand why. All right. So when we talk about artificial, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? Artificial. What comes to mind? Anybody? Artificial? Because it is acquired by deliberately introducing a small amount of the virus. No, it's mRNA technology they use to do DNA. It's not really the same thing that you're accustomed to. It's a new technology that they've been working on for years. That's the one that they use for coronavirus. It's not the thing that we always read about in the textbook. I think it's called memory RNA. mRNA. So memory RNA. It is a new technology. They have been working on the technology for some time. They have been working on the technology for some time. So I know that a lot of persons are saying, hey, how they just come up with this thing so early? When more money was pumped into coronavirus research. They were working on this research long ago. They are using a new technology. You can read on it. It is mRNA. The M is for memory. It's a new technology. All right, so let us look here. So Amoy was saying that because it is acquired by deliberately introducing a small amount of the virus or dead pathogen in the body. So it is acquired because it is artificial, one, because it is man-made. It is acquired because you get it from somewhere else. Now, it is active. So this is the part where we mix you up a whole lot of things we're saying. So artificial, man-made. Acquired, it was introduced. Active is that it is going to cause the body, your body, to make antibodies. All right? So it is causing your body to make antibodies, and that is why it is active. So it is going to develop this resistance from within, if I could use those words. All right? So a lot of things there, fake, not real, man-made. All right, cool. So if it's artificial, it is not real, as some person wants to say. But coronavirus and the corona vaccine is as real as real. So of course, it is of course introduced. So we get that one nice. I hope you're looking at that. If you did not get the virus, if you didn't get the reason or the type of immunity, don't worry yourself too much. I'm going to be doing a lot of work on that because immunity is like must be on your HSB paper. It is always on the multiple choice paper, check, and it is always going to be there anywhere from question 3 to question 6. You're going to find some immunity. All right, so we touched one question. Let us look at the other question around coronavirus on the paper. Oh, two questions. So the first we looked at, we said that antibiotic really don't work with virus, it works with bacteria. Then we spoke about the type of immunity to be artificial active acquired immunity. Now, there's another question, and this might be the last question I'm going to look at from the paper. After receiving the vaccine, Ravi falls ill a few days later. Explain why Ravi became ill in spite of being vaccinated. Now, Amoy and De Sousa, you can tell me about that. You guys are in the medical field. Do you want to take that question? So when you get your vaccine, when the baby get the BCG, when you get your booster shot, whichever one, you usually get sick after. The baby will cry, the baby will have a little fever, the baby might have some rash, the baby might have a red swelling, that type of a thing. Why does this happen? Why the person gets sick? Is it a normal response? It is normal within the frame of normal. I don't know if you understand what it means in the frame of normal. It means that if a person has a fever and the fever is controllable, then that's fine. But if they have a fever that is going to blow the brain, I mean, that is not fine. You want to find a doctor, right? And if your heart is going to palpate and hit out of your chest and that type of thing, that is not normal within normal. So you need to find a doctor. And if you start to have dizzy spell that you're fainting and all of that, that is not normal. You need to find a doctor. All right. So I don't know what's happening to Amoy. The transmission seems to be a little slow. So let me see what's happening here. His body is fighting the foreign substance. So we're having what is called the inflammation response. Very good, Tanisha. The body is having the inflammation response, and that is one of the way that the doctor, the medical technocrats, that is how they would know that the body and the medication is working, because the body is supposed to operate this way. All right, so we'll talk more about it. Sir, it is to show that the vaccine is working or the person is allergic to the vaccine. Not sure, just say it. All right, that's fine. All right, so I'm always back with us because the body is in the process of developing developing an antibody, because antigen was introduced in the body. That's such a fancy word. Amaya come with me telling me play with Amaya, and I want for HSB this year, you know. She come out really strong with all some attitude and all these things. All right, cool. So I'll soon get back to the technicality of what Amaya said. I'll break it down in the lesson. What she said is pretty much correct, plausible. But let me just give you a layman term. That's how most persons understand things before we get technical. So when you get that vaccination, that vaccine, what happens is that it is foreign to the body. Now, anything that is foreign to the body will try to get rid of it. All right. So if you have antigen, I like to talk about antigen, which are usually on the pathogen. I like to talk about antigen as being antagonistic. All right. So a person who's antagonistic, they're not really they're not really your friend. They cause your life to be a little unhappy. Right. So I talk about the antigen as being more like the bad guy, not the more like the bad guy. Now, what the antigen will do, it will cause the body to make antibodies. Antibody. The antibody will be responsible for getting rid of that foreign matter. Now, once this vaccine would have been introduced to the organism, to you, to me, to whomever, what is going to happen is that the body is going to, hey, we have a stranger here. So the blood vessels, they are going to dilate. Blood is going to flow faster so that they can get more white blood cell out to deal with the pathogen, the disease-causing organism. Then the other thing that will happen is that the body temperature will also increase in order to get rid of the pathogen just the same. Then you're going to have things like histamine in the blood, And this is, of course, going to cause there's a red pimples and so on. But it's pretty much a body way of saying that something is not right. The lymph glands might be swollen and that type of a thing. Something is not right. So it tells you by giving you these signs and symptoms. You might have headache, you might have rash, you might have fever. In some cases, depending on what it is, you might even have diarrhea, right? So these are some signs and some symptoms when we get vaccine, and we're going to be looking at them in this lesson. And we're going to be breaking them down way down that you can understand. All right. Is it because the body sees a vaccine, a foreign body, and is fighting against it? Just like that. Yes. But guess what? In this fight, there is no need for mediation. All right, good. In this fight, there is no need for mediation because at the end of this fight, what is going to happen is that the body is going to develop some amount of immunity and will always remember this foreign matter. So the next time this foreign content is introduced, the body will be able to fight it. So what you have there is what we call the immune response. All right? Is one of those things that will happen while we are developing immunity. And then we have like the inflammation response. If like you get a cut and that type of thing, pretty much foreign matter invading the body is going to pretty much be pretty much the same way. All right. So we move on into, I hope you got that one, lymphocyte memory cells. I tell you, I might come out real strong. All right, we didn't want to give you all of that, but Amma is giving you, so we are very grateful. So when we talk about immunity, we are talking about being able to resist or being able to survive without without being ill as a result of the introduction of a pathogen. All right. So that is pretty much layman terms what immunity is. So there's some foreign matter that has been introduced, whatever it is, and the body is able to cope without being ill, and you can do your normal work pretty much the same. All right. Some immunity is long lived, some is pretty much short lived. But there are some words that I want to bring you up to speed with as we talk about immunity, so that when you get to the exam and you see these type of immunity, you know what each of these words mean. I really don't want to look at the big long stuff. I gave you 4 words for one immunity just now. So I also want to give you one at a time. All right? So let us go. So we want to look at passive first. Are Amoy, those persons who are ahead, like Amoy and Kinesha and so on, just tell me in the chat, post in the chat for me what's immunity, a good definition that our friends can use. And then we want to look at passive. What does passive mean? If we say that it is passive, it means that it has been acquired from another source, not from the same organism. So if you see passive, it is coming from another source, not from the organism. So if I'm going to get any form of immunity that is passive, it means that it is something that is going to be introduced to me. All right? All right? Good. Another thing we want to look at is natural. Now, if we talk about natural, it is without aid. All right, man would not have aided the natural process. It has been made possible by God or in the organism, as it were. So natural is coming from the organism. And then now we want to look at the word active. Active. Now, if we're talking about immunity and we use the word active, the body would have produced its own immunity. So if it is active, it is something that is being produced in the body, right? So we're going to put all of those words together and explain to you why all these words are used and what is supposed to be understood from these words. All right. So we looked at passive, we looked at natural, we looked at active. Then the other word we want to look at, and some of these words seem to be pretty close, we want to look at innate. Innate When it's innate, it means that the organism had it from birth. All right? From birth. It means that the organism was actually born with this immunity. All right, good. So my friends here are putting some things in the chat, and let us look at what is happening here. Immunity is the body temporary or permanent resistance to a disease. All right. I'm not sure why MRS is there. Martin, immunity after an infection, the lymphocytes are kept as memory, which helps the body to defend itself against. Amoy, I'm going with Amoy's definition. Active is through direct infection. All right, immune. All right, good. A lot of persons giving their view of what is happening there. All right, good. So we have looked at passive, natural, active, innate. Passive, natural, active, innate. Most persons will remember natural. Most persons will also remember artificial. Not many persons will remember active. Now, active, it means that the body would have produced its own. If it is active, the body is going to produce or cause that immunity. If it is innate, you are born with it. All right, we'll say more on that as we go along. All right, let us just touch a little bit more. We want to look at natural. Look at this. Listen to this one now. Let's put this one together. Natural, first part. Innate, active, immunity. That's 4 words. So this is a type of immunity that is natural, innate, that means that natural, man has nothing to do with it. Innate, the organism was born with it. Active, it means that it actually developed within the organism. And you know what immunity is. Now, so natural active or natural innate active immunity shows resistance to disease. All right, the very first time the organism comes into contact with the disease. So you're born with this resistance. You're born with this immunity. You're born with the immunity. All right. So, oh wow, I can't catch measles. Oh, why? Nobody in my family has ever caught measles. We are resistant. We are immune to that type of a thing. All right. So this type of immunity, the natural, innate, active immunity, the God sent, the one you were born with, the one that developed inside of you. That's how we said a while ago, natural, innate, active immunity that you inherited. Now, this is where some persons are going to have a little bit of problem. We said you inherited this. It is not the same thing as a baby sucking the breast. It's not the same as that lactation thing. All right. So very slow. I hope we get that one. So if you're born with it, if you were born with it, if you inherit it from mom, dad, whomever, if it comes down on your family tree, this immunity is going to be natural, innate. Innate meaning that you were born with it. Active meaning that it is from within you, that type of immunity. So that's the first one we look at. Be careful. Make sure you can identify them. All right? Good. So another type of immunity we want to look at today is natural. This one is going to be a little tricky. Natural, innate, passive immunity. So it's natural, meaning that it is not man-made. Innate, meaning that that resistance, that immunity will develop within you. But the other question is, how did it get started? It got started by an active means, meaning that it is from within you, or it got started by a passive mean, meaning that something from outside, natural or otherwise, had to start it up. All right? So we now talk about natural. The immunity going actually take place. You might born with it, innate, be born with it. Passive, you're born with it, you got it from somewhere. All right? So let us look at what this is. So this would have, of course, been like antibodies that are passed from the mother to the fetus. Antibodies that are actually passed from the mother to the fetus. Or it could have been passed down in the breast milk. All right? So the resistance or the immunity that is acquired from mother, the baby acquired from mother, or the baby acquires as a result of breastfeeding, that is called natural, innate, passive immunity. All right? Uh, acquired is another word that is used. Acquired is another word that is used. All right. So all women should recall, if I don't know any other type of immunity, the one that I have here between my child and me, passed down to my child via the fetus, via the breast milk, it is called natural, innate, passive, because it's coming from me to the child. But of course, everything is going to take place within the child. All right. Now, something that we should pay attention to when it comes to natural, innate, passive immunity is that it is short term. It is short term. Now, it's also important for us to know, just let me hit those persons now. I'm going to hit somebody. It's also important to note that babies, they don't make antibodies. So they can't protect themselves against all those stuff that they are eating on the floor, the orange that they rub on the floor and then put in their mouth. They can't protect themselves against that. All right. As such, as such, it is very important for you to breastfeed your baby. Don't let nobody tell you that the baby is 1 year old or whatever year old. Wait until, ask your pediatrician, is it right now? They would have done some studies. Is it time to allow the child? Of course, you're going to go through that weaning phase. But there are some women who are saying 3 months, 2 months, and then they stuck the baby into a can or something like that to get some concentrate. I mean, make sure that you are breastfeeding the baby. So natural, innate, passive is basically having to transfer from the environment. Environment is a big word, and please don't use it that loosely. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what is environment for you, but it can mean a whole lot of stuff. All right, so just let me finish again, or let me do this one more time. If we're talking about natural, innate, passive, or acquired immunity, same thing. Passive, acquired immunity, passive or acquired immunity. That's a good example of immunity being passed down from mother to offspring. And of course, this could be done via the fetus, that's why the baby is inside, or it could have been done from breastfeeding. All right? Good. And another thing that we said that was a salient point here is that it is short lived and babies really don't produce antibodies. As such, they rely on the mother's breast to stay safe. I could tell you something, ladies. If you breastfeed your babies longer, you spend less time going to the hospital with that baby. If you breastfeed your baby longer, you spend less time going to the hospital with that baby. Can I tell you something else? If you breastfeed that baby, the chances of that baby having a lot of itch and bumps and spot on the skin is greatly reduced. Greatly reduced. All right? As it were, for what your breast will be like, I'm sure that you know the types of bra and what you should do for them to look like how you want them to look. I can't tell you that bit. But what I can tell you is how to protect the offspring that our species will continue. All right, very good. So we move on to another. And this one is acquired active immunity. Notice this not have no natural or nothing upon it, it just say acquired active immunity. Now, this is immunity that develops after you have contracted a disease. All right? So you contract this disease, you had no immunity to the disease, it has no doctor gave you anything, but after you would have contracted this disease, you develop immunity to any further exposure. So if you were supposed to be exposed to the disease again, then you would not, or more than likely, you would not be able to catch a same strain of that particular disease. So this type of immunity is called acquired active immunity. It is acquired because you were exposed to the pathogen before, and active because that immunity will develop within you. All right. So if you didn't have the disease before, you contracted the disease, and then after you would have contracted the disease, you are resistant to the disease moving forward, as in the case with most persons who would have caught chickenpox and what's it, ZIKV and CHIKV. Most persons who caught those disease, having caught it one time, we didn't needed not to worry about the following year, because we knew then that you would not be able to contract the disease again, because the body would have developed acquired active immunity. All right, so we're moving right along. I do hope that we are all fine. We're now going to be skipping on over to artificial immunity. Artificial immunity. Now, this is immunity that is caused by human intervention. So you go to the doctor and the doctor has to intervene for you to become immune to a particular disease. This is, of course, artificial immunity. Now, vaccines. Amoy spoke to vaccine earlier. Vaccines are really weakened culture are a mild form of the disease in most cases outside of the mRNA. All right, which is a new thing that we're using for, not we, because we don't know nothing about it. It's a new thing that they are using to fight COVID. All right, it's a new thing. It's a technology that they've been working on for some time, and they get some more money now, so they were able to fast track it, and as a result, they are able to put it out so fast. All right, so a vaccine is pretty much a weakened strain of the disease or the pathogen, and it is weakened by either we eat it, expose it to high temperature, or by adding formalin to weaken it, or of course we could pass it through a number of tissue. All right, so you pass it through a number of body tissue and pass and pass and pass, and after a while, it become weakened and the body understand and we can deal with it. All right, so we're looking at artificial. Now, one other thing with vaccine is that vaccine is usually under this heading artificial. When you see vaccine, it is somewhere here. Now, you have artificial active immunity. Artificial active immunity. Now, if it is artificial, we gave you something. And after we gave it to you, active, your body now develop those antibodies to guard you against further exposure. So artificial, kick, we gave it to you there, we gave you a shot, And having given you the shot, the active part is now that your body is going to do the work. So it become artificial active immunity. Now, this is seen with diseases such as TB, tuberculosis, where it is seen with the administering of the BCG injection. It is seen when we deal with polio, smallpox, diphtheria, whooping cough, tetanus B, measles, mumps, pneumonia. All of those would have been, of course, been treated under the whole concept of artificial active immunity. All right, there's something on my screen here. All right, good evening. All right, so then we move on to something else. So we spoke about artificial active. So now we're going to be talking about artificial passive immunity. Artificial passive immunity. Now, artificial passive immunity, artificial, man-made. Passive, you're getting it from somewhere or from some other organism. In this case, some other organism. Now, antibodies are collected, all right, and given to the infected persons. The antibody is collected from another organism and given to the infected person, and that is what makes it passive. All right. So passive, the body is making passive. It is getting it from somewhere else. All right. Now, another thing we want to look at, an example under artificial passive immunity, we want to look at antiserum. Now, antiserum is usually a fluid containing antibodies, right? So when we talk about artificial passive immunity, we always have to bear in mind this whole idea of serum. And serum is pretty much a fluid containing antibodies. Now, the thing about a serum is that it is fast acting. It is fast acting. And usually it is not one of those things that doctors readily use unless they have no option. Usually it's a vaccine that is used, as in the case with TB. But if you were supposed to catch TB and you were not vaccinated, then in order to save you, they are going to give you antiserum, which is artificial passive immunity. Now, antiserum, it is very quick in its action, but it is short-lived. It is very antiserum, very quick in its action, will operate very, very quickly. Unlike the others that will operate, take a little time to operate, it will operate very quickly. Now, another thing about antiserum is that it is usually made in another animal. All right. So cases where we use antiserum, when you have tetanus, when you get a snake bite, they will use antiserum to treat that. Now, all this would fall under that which we refer to as artificial passive immunity. Good. So we're almost there in time. There's a few things to cover before we go. Now, we wanted to know about these two words. You cannot cover immunity and you don't have a good grasp of antigen and antibodies. Of course, I'll be going through antigen, antibodies, and as we go through, I'll be making mention of the various types of immunity. So it's not the end of the way or end of the journey here for immunity. As we go through diseases, we're going to be looking at the types of immunity that is associated with a particular disease. Now, antigen, like antibodies, they are really large protein, but you could have antigen that are, of course, carbohydrate in nature. Now, the antigen, they are usually found on the pathogen, the disease-causing agent. And the antigen, the body in its response to a particular type of antigen will stimulate itself to make antibodies, right? And the antibodies are those that will destroy the pathogen. So I started out by saying to you, the antigen, they are somewhat antagonistic. Once they are there, we're talking about the pathogen thing there, and they're going to cause us to become sick. But when we talk about antibody, they are like our bodies. Bodies, they are our really good friend. You don't talk about that's my body, man. That's my good friend. All right. So the antibodies are going to, of course, safeguard the organism by getting rid of that disease-causing agent, providing that they can. Now we spoke about serum, and we spoke about antiserum, and we spoke about vaccine. We spoke about antiserum, and we spoke about vaccine. So you're taking a vaccine for coronavirus, but antiserum, if you were supposed to get a sting or something like that, then you'd look more like antiserum. Now we need to compare them. We need to compare them. Now you're a doctor, which one is better to use? Now, the first thing we need to know is that for vaccine, it will not necessarily operate the same time you get it. Boom, you get your BCG shot, you're all ready and good to go there. Now, it will take a few weeks before we have enough antibodies to really treat with the antigen. All right, so it will take a little time before the antibody level will rise enough or multiply enough or whatever word we want to use to become more in order to fight the pathogen. Now, on the other hand, when we look at antigen, antiserum, once you look at the antiserum and the antiserum is administered, the antiserum is administered for quick action. You must do it now. If you don't do it now, what is going to happen is that the person might die. So, of course, they are going to give you the antiserum, and the antiserum will act immediately. And of course, it will cause a high level of antibodies immediately. So, one might say that the antiserum is quick in its action, while the vaccine is slow in its action. Do hope we understand. So vaccine slow, and antiserum fast. Vaccine will give you few antibodies at start, but the antiserum will give you a lot of antibodies at the start. So is there a specific temperature that antigen and antiserum work? Put it this way, anything that works in the body must work at the body's normal temperature. The only thing that doesn't really conform to the body temperature is the scrotum being outside of the body, because it has to be at a lower temperature. But of course, if your temperature should go above norm where you can operate, and the antigen is working better at that temperature, then you understand that you are pretty much on the highway of being killed. And that is when they would have to look at administering an antiserum, so that all the actions can take place within the confines of the normal body temperature. All right? So these, yes, some might cause the body temperature to rise, some might cause the body temperature to go down. All right? All right? Because remember, it's there to establish itself, doesn't care about you. Now, another thing about vaccine is that they give active immunity. While so vaccine active, antiserum, it is associated with passive immunity. So talk about passive immunity, antiserum, active immunity, vaccine. All right, such is the case with the coronavirus vaccine. Now, vaccines, they last long. You remember when you took your BCG, or the baby got the BCG from way back when? Baby, 6-week clinic or something like that. And it is still there working up to now, just to get some booster and so on. But that is there working. Now, the antiserum, I mean, if you get a snake bite, you really don't want to have the antiserum in your body forever. So the antiserum is, of course, short-lived. And of course, if you get like I think a nail juke or something, you will get an antiserum or something like that. It is to guard against tetanus. Another thing that it guards against is tetanus. Now, the culture of the organism is, as it were, for vaccine. It is, of course, non-toxic, and of course, by heat. All right. Now, in the case of antiserum, remember that we said that it is pretty much done in another organism. All right. So a lot said there. I really don't want us to go any deeper. The show is designed to be 1 hour, and we are 1 hour and 4 minutes now. So I do hope that you enjoyed the show. Just 1 hour worth of notes for you to go back through, looking at immunity. And of course, we're going to make available that paper this evening. And I'll, of course, go through as much as possible. But when I published the multiple choice, I got some feedback from some persons who said that they preferred if I scroll the paper and then answered the paper because they wanted to see the questions before they saw the answer. I think about 2 persons came to me. Is that the thing for everybody? Because if that's the thing for everybody, we'll just show you the questions and then we'll show you the answer. So if that's what you want us to do, tell us, because we're going to be putting out one today. I want to ensure that we're meeting the need of the consumer. All right. So you have been watching Mr. Wilson live. We're streaming from Kingston, Jamaica, and that's in the Caribbean. We stream on a Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 5:05 p.m. It's a free class that gears to cover content for the CXC, CSEC, Biology, and Human and Social Biology syllabus. We also have on the channel a number of past papers, a whole lot of notes, animations, laboratory activities, and of course, news and reviews from CXC, and my personal opinion on content around education. Be it CXC, the government, schools, I do some personal thing on education. All right, sir, I have a question before you leave about antibiotics. Will you say using nature's antibiotic, using, is it nature? I hope I'm seeing well, nature's antibiotic daily or regularly and overuse, even though we have no need for them? Oh, sir, I don't understand. Before you leave, I'm not sure if that question is complete, but I will just answer what I think you're asking. Uh, if you overuse any antibiotic, after some time, they just won't work for you. If you overuse anything, after some time, it just won't work for you. All right. So some things you want to ensure that they are taken just when you need them. And another thing, when you go to the hospital and they give you a dozen tablets, take the 12 tablets, because if you don't, what you're doing is to expose yourself to resistance to the particular drugs. All right. Good. Sir, I was waiting on Wednesday, but did not see the notification. Yes, but remember, I said at the early part of the class, if you have not selected, when you click the notification bell, you needed to select all so that when we send a publication, you would have gotten it. Now, for Wednesday's class and the other class could have been Friday class, I did send a publication that I will not be having class. It is like report time at school now, so I have to be doing a lot of work, a lot of letters, a lot of reports, writing on a lot of things and all of that, meetings here, meetings there. So then every now and then you'll find that I might be all tied up, because in Jamaica, where schools are closed again, we're doing everything online. It's new for us, so I have to be putting in my piece. I'm supposed to be writing my speech this evening. I didn't even remember. So because of that, I am going to be in and out sometime until after report day. Everything will be all right. But moving forward, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing the paper twos and the paper threes, because we think you have adequate multiple choice out there. No need to worry. Just do the multiple choice that you have. Hey guys, we're just blocks away from the exam. No, I'm going to be coming here every week, or every class that I have, I'm going to be coming with something about exam, a prediction, or something that I notice on the paper, some trend, that type of a thing. But I am waiting on the broad topics from CXC before I give you my big prediction. But I do think that coronavirus is going to be on the paper. Something on virus must be there. Of course, immunity is going to be there. Have you ever seen an exam paper without immunity? Hey, it doesn't happen. Immunity must be there. So we're sure that we're going to have immunity lock. Let me see what's happening here. Sir, oh, I was waiting on that. Sir, I am enjoying this session. All right, I'm happy. Very informative. Good. Tell, like, let me see this one now. Like the use of garlic or ginger. Macmillan, I don't understand where that going, but I'd be so interested in finding out. Like the use of garlic and ginger. Tell me where that is going. I don't understand that. Garlic and ginger is antibiotic? I don't know. That was a natural thing that persons, it was you? Uh, oh, that was a natural antibiotic. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I didn't know. All right. Let me be honest with you guys. I am not going to be acting as if I am the keeper of knowledge. I know that you have a lot of herbs and a lot of things that persons take at home remedies. You have fever grass, you have aloe vera, you have leaf of life, you have soursop, you have caranilla, you have ginger, you have cirrhosis, you have what else you said there? Garlic, you have scallion, you have thyme. I mean, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. As to how these things work, Mr. Wilson really don't know. I'm very sorry. I really don't know about them. So I'm not in a position to tell you that if you do this, that is going to happen. I've never read any literature around it. I'll just be talking folk talk if I talk about any of these stuff. I really don't know them. All right. The only thing I know about is like the cultural use, because when I did environmental science, we have to look at plants and the cultural use. So I can tell you that they use this to do that, they use that to do that, they use that to do that. But that's the way that work or not, I really don't know. All right. Is it good to drink if you have corona? Drink what? Drink what? This also drink what? Alcohol? It is never ever good to drink alcohol. Some might say a one or two won't hurt, but sometimes a one or two will lead up to a two or three, or a three or four, or a four or five. So because alcohol is a depressant, that feel good effect of being away from your problem for a while, alcohol might just take you a little further. So I won't entertain alcohol for corona or otherwise. So my net sticking. So other time we'll explain to you what I'm talking about. That's fine. I'm always open. I'm always willing to listen. Uh, Evening, sir. Good. Sir, you never use any kind of bushes. Of course, I am from the country. Yes, man. I use dandelion. I use blueberry. I use soursop leaf. I use I am a bush tea man. Just go outside and get a piece of bush and make some tea. I am from the country. I might live in Kingston now, but I'm a country guy, man. I drink all of them little bush stuff and not even know them name. Yeah. Yeah, so I've used bush. Sir, I'm saying garlic and ginger is good to drink as tea for a person who have coronavirus. Lord Jesus, have mercy upon me now. Where you get that down, this Sosa? I listen. I don't know what makes it good or not good. What I say to you, if you want to hear me talk about what is good or not good for coronavirus, what is good or not good for coronavirus? If it is good, it must be well established. So if you are going to tell me that coronavirus can be treated with ginger and garlic, then the University of the West Indies should be using a whole lot of garlic and ginger, because a whole lot of farmers in Jamaica have a whole lot of garlic and ginger. And if this is so much of a remedy for coronavirus, we don't need to worry about anything from India. We would have enough garlic and ginger in Jamaica to solve coronavirus. So to solve the problem of coronavirus. So I can't go with that. I am sorry. I can't go with you with that for now. Probably when you can do some more research on that and you can give me the proof, I'll run along. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard that I am rich. You wouldn't believe that. I've heard that I am rich. I mean, any madman heard that would laugh. Laugh. Any madman hear that Mr. Wilson is rich would really just laugh himself and become sober. So we've heard a lot of things, but we have to be mindful that people say just about everything. In Jamaica, like the national medicine, the medicine that can cure a lot of things or cure everything. Yes, man, me drink search me heart too, man. Yeah, me like that one there. Me love search me heart. Wanna know them the bush they from? Wanna come from? I talk about search me heart. Lord Jesus, next thing you're gonna tell me about Aurelia and dragon blood. Oh Jesus, I'm Panya Machete. Lord, look how they're taking me back to country. Oh my. All right, cool. Uh Somebody hit that thought away just now when I saw this. But I was saying that the ginger and so on, so on and so forth. People always say a lot of things, and I was about to tell you that the medication in Jamaica that cures everything, anything that you have. Let's say you must get some lime, you must get some white rum, lime, white rum, and what else? Anybody here from Jamaica can tell me the national medicines? Lime, white rum. I don't remember if Cersei's a part. Am I? What are they again? That cures everything in Jamaica. Lime, white rum, and what? So remember, God gave us all the herbs and fruits on the earth for a reason. I am from a country, so I know all bush. I beg your pardon. You have to go send me some. Hey, we need to set up this WhatsApp thing and the other something we call them. We call them again Instagram and TikTok and those stuff because I really need to hear some of these things over this side, because I want to know some of these bushes. Because when I was growing up, I never really go to the hospital, right? My grandmother have a bush for everything, but ask me what they are for, I really don't know. Sir, I have I live in Anova, so I use up my bush. Country girl, big up yourself, country girl. I have nothing with that. If your bush work, use your bush, brother. All right. Ginger, Guinea hen weed. Yes, brother, I'm here about Guinea hen weed too, but I don't know what it is. But I've heard about Guinea hen weed. I've heard about Medina. That's a big one in Jamaica. Medina. Uh, Leaf of life. Yeah, leaf of life. You usually pound up that one there, and you put a little eucalyptus oil in it, probably a little salt, and we use that one for cool. My grandmother used to have that. All right. They talk about ganja too. I mean, ganja, the boil, put ganja with rum or something like that. That is another big one in Jamaica. And there's a folk tale, like you catch like a scorpion and you like put it in that thing, and then that thing good for pain or something. I don't know. All right. These are things that I have heard. And as to say that they can solve your problem, I mean, I know that it is illegal to practice them stuff. All right. In Jamaica, you have seriously bush. Lord Jesus, me no know spirit weed. Send me a picture. Hey, go over my email address there and send the channel a picture of them bush here. Just pick the bush them, put the name beside them and send them to Mr. Wilson. I want to know them and write with them good for too. I want to know them. I believe me, I want to know them. Let me see what's up here. So, and for sinus, cure cancer. So I heard. Then how so much people still have cancer? Am I? Eh? Am I? If all these things are so good, why are we still having cancer? Pain. Bonnet. Guinea hen is good for a number of things, especially arthritis, back, foot. But you know what? You know what I like about this, though? You know what I like about this? If you send these things in, I tend to like to write. I do my little writing here and there. And I will definitely, some of these things that you're telling me about, I'll definitely experiment with them. It is unethical to practice on people, but if you have people consent that they will drink these things and they will tell me if they feel pain or not, I'll do the research with planning and design. My grade 11 students shall do the research. All right. It's good for sinus. All right. Sarsaparilla. Boy, I am hearing some Jamaican here. I feel a little Jamaican in the room. Sarsaparilla. I have been hearing that name ever since I was a toddler. I still don't know what is sarsaparilla. All right. So she heard. All right. Pitney Moon. Lord of mercy. What name, so? What's Pitney Muma Bush? I've never heard of that. I have never heard of that. The show is actually finished. This is the part where we bond. This is like bonding. So feel free to share, intro your bits in. We talk about it. I mean, it's a mix of culture, cultural integration from your end neck of the woods, whether you're coming from Trinidad and Guyana. I want to big up the people down in Trinidad and big up the people over Guyana and some other Caribbean. I'm getting a whole lot of love from Trinidad and Guyana. Other Caribbean island, I want you to log in and join in. And guys, remember that you need to share the link. Whatever, sir, everyone body is different. So what works for one may not work for all. And that is why we do the research in biology to find out if it will work. All right, sir, I have used it for my arthritis pain. It's good. All right. So is it long-term or short-term relief that you get, Barnett? All right, Corona. Corona, simple to me. Natural herb would do. Natural herb? Then if natural herb is so good, why are we carrying all these medication from wherever? Why don't we just say, hey, I have send me 10 person with the disease, and if they should pass under my care, I am going to give the family $20 million because this is a part of my. I mean, this is not even a research. I am sure that this bush work. So this, I mean, that type of thing. If persons can come up bold and show me that, I'm sure that we will not import another bottle of this product. All right. So let me see here. I hope I'm not missing anything from anyone, sir. Going. Oh, it was a big family medicine. Okay. Same here. And still is okay. Sir, to be honest, is a long time. I don't take sinus pill. I use I don't know if I'm seeing that well. Is it fennel or fennel seeds? I don't know if I'm seeing the ends or I'm not too sure there. My eyes are really going. All right. But whatever seed that there is that you take, send it to me as well and the plant and tell me what it does. And I'll do some reading on it. I tend to like to do the little reading stuff from time to time. And then the Sosa, who was that? Amoy? No, it wasn't Amoy. It was Plummer. So Amoy is saying that Pitney Muma bush, also known as, you think you're easy? Everybody know dog blood. And don't bother start me up from me start talking the things about that bush white name Pitney Muma bush, you know. Don't start me up here because country me come from. Yes, I know dog blood bush. I know dog bush. Good for belly pain. On the belly pain, on the belly pain. I am Jamaican. You know. I know this bush, dog blood bush. I know this bush. This bush is a very dangerous bush. I know that bush very well. This Sosa, sir, tell them we are on lockdown. Who is on lockdown? Yeah, everybody's on lockdown. In Jamaica, we can't go anywhere. We have to stay shut in. So we are in. And for me, I've been doing TikTok. I've been doing reading. I've been doing schoolwork. I've been trying to put together videos for you. You should have gotten a video for 6:30 this evening. It's a good thing we never upload it yet. And we're here chatting away. But no worry yourself, the video is ready. Let me continue. So we're on lockdown. We can't go out. So we just talk and meet persons from all over the world. If you care to say which island you're from, that's fine. You can say it in the chat. But you know you don't give your personal information here. All right. Over time we'll get to know each other. All right. Sir, but it is what people use here. Martin, remind me where you are. Dark blood bush. That's why we're not hearing any. Okay. Yeah. Guys, can I tell you earlier? I went upstairs and I was saying that I wanted to have the show on the outside so that you can get a feel of where I am. So I wanted to have the show outside, but it just didn't work. No, there is no youngers today because we're on lockdown. So the youngers are for the first time. I think these youngers are like really smiling. I mean, if you should see a youngers now and do an interview, they'll tell you, "Oh, tell you what, this is my first day resting." Because I mean, the youngers they never rest, but they're not on the road today. I didn't even notice that they're not here today. But we have no youngers today because we're on lockdown in Jamaica. Nobody can go out, nobody can come in. Good. That is true, the Sosa. You've been paying attention. Long term, long term, longer than using the arthritis cream. Um, send me that in the I don't know what's happening here. Okay. Send me that on my email. I want to look at some of these stuff. Right? I want to ask my mother and whomever. I talk to a lot of old people. Matter of fact, when I look at the demographic of my show, persons from age 13 to 45, pretty much about the same amount watching the show. So that is really my age range. So I really want to look at that. Sir, Sir Rich Lowell. No, rich is not my thing. I am never in the rich lane. Never in the rich lane. I wish that life will change for me, that I can actually pour some blessing on some persons. It's like I have these free classes. I could just have some money and I can just look at some persons and, but I could live a better life, right? But I mean, it's not flowing my way now, but I am sure that someday it will. All right. So I am optimistic that way. All right. It just can be a placebo. What's a placebo? What placebo effect you're talking about? They're giving persons placebo for the coronavirus stuff. Um, Placebo, simply put, guys, placebo is like a false pill. If you have ever heard about the Tuskegee experiment, it's sort of a cruel experiment. I really don't like to talk about it. Like when I'm talking about immunity, I don't like to talk about the immunity aspect where the little boy's skin was cut and all that. I don't like to read it. In my head, it is unethical and I can't treat with it. The Tuskegee experiment was an experiment where black men were infected with gonorrhea, and they wanted to see how long they could live with the gonorrhea, and they were giving them placebo as treatment for the gonorrhea. And placebo can't treat gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is a bacteria, and you're going to need penicillin. And of course, you know what happened. So placebo, when we talk about placebo, is that like they call it sugar pill. That's the easiest thing or the most popular thing. They give you a sugar pill. So you keep going to the doctor every day. Doctor, I want tablet, I want tablet. And the doctor realizes that, hey, this is a psychological stuff. You really don't have a pain problem. I'm going to give you some placebo. And the doctor give you some placebo and you come back and say, doctor, those pills really work. So you keep going to the doctor and the doctor keep giving you sugar pill. Sugar pills that has no effect on the body more than just give you some glucose and you take them and feel all fine. That's placebo. All right, plumber. Pick more bush. Yeah, dark blood. Dark blood is a dark blood. I want them bush there. I don't want to tell them about dark blood here. And find out now in the community and come back and tell me what they use dark blood to do. I mean, too much to be said here. All right, Martin, sir, we can have a WhatsApp group. To me, it can be helpful to us. That's going to be too much work for me. I have WhatsApp, but I don't do phones. So nobody can call me on a phone and get me. I don't do phones. I don't like phones. Early part of WhatsApp, I had my phone. Uh, I was getting like 900, 1,400 calls per day, over that amount of call and messages per day. It eventually happened that my phone burnt and I had to replace the phone. So I just don't do phone from then. I'm not in the WhatsApp group thingy something. No, I can't treat with that. Sorry, it's too much for me. It's too expensive for me. It's too time consuming for me. And my rules when it comes to WhatsApp, they are really, really stringent. When I used to do WhatsApp, you can't send forwarded messages. You can't send your good morning prayer and all of those stuff. No, I don't do those stuff when I'm doing WhatsApp. And a lot of persons can't treat with that because you don't need to get up and pray in the group. Nobody asks for your prayer. And if I can get up and pray in the group, then the next man that goes to dance can send a naked picture and that type of thing. So to prevent that, I don't do it any at all. All right? Okay, sir. All right. So that's pretty much it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. The WhatsApp group takes a lot. So I am going to try to see if I can probably meet you on Facebook that might be the place. I think I have a Facebook account. I'll tell you about it next time around. And I'm going to be looking at the Instagram account. Be reminded that you need to invite your friends to come on over, share with your classmates. We're really not asking persons to come over who have no interest in the content. That is not what I'm asking you to do. All right, because what they do, they become what we call phantom subscriber, and they really don't help your channel to grow. We want persons who are interested in the content to come on over. Remember to leave a comment after the show. If you came to the show, it's only fitting that you leave a comment after the show and watch the show till the very end. All right. So that's going to be it from me this evening. Thank you very much for joining me. I gave you half an hour of chat. I'm sure that you must be rejuvenated and happy to see me as I am happy to see you. I'm going to be seeing you on Wednesday and I will look for whatever show. I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing Wednesday. I'm going to be changing the thumbnail today. But Wednesday we're going to be doing something good. All right. Something good. So see you then. Take care. Please don't go out on the road. If you are in Jamaica, we're on lockdown. Stay home and watch TV. Press your clothes. 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, the curfew will be lifted. Students are not going to school. Those who are not going to school, if you are doing CXC, log on to my channel. All the labs are there for biology. If you are doing biology, just go to biology experiment. And those persons who are doing the field trip with the quadrat, I have an animation for quadrat that you can just go there, select whichever color plant you want, sit and watch the video, and pause it and count the organisms, and your lab would have been completed. All right. So thank you too, sir. All right. My pleasure. Of course, we always. All right. Good. Thanks. I'm happy to know that. All right. So see you guys on Wednesday. Please come to the show early. The show is 1 hour. 1 hour. I am going to put out now the codominance with the blood group thingy, the blood group thingy, the blood group thingy. Can you imagine Amai blood is A, her fiancé blood is B, however they have a baby with blood group O? We're going to solve all of that when we look at codominance and blood group. The videos will come shortly. Take care. See you.